911, what's your emergency? 911, what's your emergency?
Be advised, Car 4 has control of the pursuit. Proceed with caution.
Hey everybody, how are you guys? Hey Derek, hey Tech Def, hey Lipsha, good to see you, good to see all of you. It has been a minute and I'm sorry about that, but my life has just been so busy and I just had a lot of stuff going on. I'm going to talk a little bit about that tonight, but because of everything that's been going on in the Delphi community, I decided late this afternoon that I was going to go ahead and go live tonight, but obviously I didn't get it advertised, so a lot of people probably have no idea that I'm live. So, and that's fine. They can watch it on the replay or whatever. Hey, Jinx. And I just really want to cover some stuff that's going on in the community. And I really wanted to address what's happening with the suppression motion by the defense. There was supposed to be a suppression hearing back in June, I believe, and it didn't happen. And so there was a lot of speculation that came from that. So we're going to talk about that tonight. And we're going to talk about some of the other craziness, I think, that's happening in the community again. Hey, Bossy, it is so good to see you. Thank you for being here. I appreciate all of you so much. But yeah, I'm doing really, really good. Hi, Derek. I know you are. I saw that, and you be careful. I don't need you to be in an accident or anything. And kudos to your live. I watched your live. You did a great job. I hope to see more from you. As you well know, I really respect you. So I know I miss you guys too. And I promise I'm going to be more present. It's just that I've had, and I'm going to explain it, and you guys will probably maybe understand once I start to explain this stuff. I wasn't going to share it. I wasn't going to talk about this with my online community, but I decided that, I really should share my journey. So, and what's been going on with me personally. So, but yeah, I'm really excited, Derek, to see that, because I always like to see when new channels pop up from people that I respect, and I know that that they're putting their whole soul and how they feel into their channel, and that they make it their own. And so I love that. I thought that you had a really good talk with Sleuth, and I loved the fact that you guys talked about how you don't always agree on everything, but yet you can still remain respectful and kind, and all of that, and all of those things. In this day and age, it is so hard to find, seriously. And so yeah, it was good. I enjoyed it. Yeah, Sleuth's a cool guy. He's got a lot. He's got a lot going on. He's very, he's got one of those really critical thinking brains, which is one of the things that I like about him. So, but anyway. So anyway, even though I too don't always agree with everything that he presents, I like the fact that he tries to keep things respectful. Hey, Shadowbox. I hope I've got that right. I can't stand the drama either. And I wish that there was a way to get away from it, honestly. But I'll tell you what, I cannot, I just can't deal with all of the crazy that goes on in our community. It's just really unnerving to me. There are so many people out there who have weird agendas, I guess, things that I just don't seem to understand. So anyway, yeah. So I guess I'll start with where I've been. So yeah, he definitely is a right-winger. That's for sure. I don't agree with his politics at all. We're not on the same page at all, but that doesn't mean that I still can't respect him as a creator. So that's just the way I look at it. And I do. What else was I going to say? Sorry. So, you guys know that I've just been hit and miss since summer. It's like there's just been so many things going on, and I really did take a step away from my channel. I wasn't sure if I was going to continue the channel. I got very discouraged with a lot of things, and I needed to get my head back on straight, and I needed to just take a step away from all of the drama around Delphi and the constant barrage of emails and contacts and messages that I was getting, trying to get me to put my feet in and get involved in it. And I've always tried to keep this channel drama free. I've always tried to keep this channel fact-based, and I've always tried my damnedest to keep it about Abby and Libby. First and foremost, the case is always about them. It's not about us. It's not about any of us. You know, I don't consider myself a true stakeholder in this case, even though my heart is extremely attached to the case. I'm not a family member. I didn't know Abby and Libby. I didn't know anything about them until after they were gone. But I learned to love them. I learned to see that these girls were just young girls who wanted the same thing that most teenage young girls want. They wanted to spend time together. They wanted to experience the world. They were creative. They were outgoing. They loved the outdoors, and they loved being part of something. It's why that it, to me, hey CJK, how are you? It's, to me, it's why they were so active in not only music, but as well as sports. They loved the camaraderie, and they just, to me, they just were two girls who really represent what normal pre-teenage girls, the girls that are getting ready to go into high school, where everything is about to explode for them. And I think a lot of people have asked me over the years why this case blew up the way it did. And I think that there are so many reasons, but I do believe, for me especially, I saw myself and my best friend in both of those girls. It could have easily been us that day on that bridge, because we did those things. We went out and walked and did those things together. And I think a lot of young women and women in general could picture themselves being those two girls. And I think that that's part of it. And I totally agree with you, Shadowbox, that they have been tragically overlooked. They were more than victims. What happened to them does not define them, does not define who they were. They had so much to give to the world, and it was stolen away from them by a complete and non-human, in my opinion. Hey, Mitzi Scott, how are you? Thank you so much for joining. I so appreciate you. And welcome to the doors. We're so happy to have you. I have, for those of you who know me and have been with my channel for as long as I've had it, know that I started on Reddit first. I created the sub Delphi's Daughters on Reddit. I tried to make that sub as much as I could about Abby and Libby. I really restricted the amount of crazy commentary on my channel to I got a heck of a reputation. Lots of people didn't like me for that, but I don't care, because to me it was about maintaining the integrity of the girls, maintaining their memory, and helping to protect the family. They have been through so much, and I didn't want to be any part of adding to or making what they had been through worse. So that's kind of what I tried to do. After I'd been on Reddit for a while and I built up my sub, I was asked to come to YouTube and start a YouTube channel. People said, we really need creators like you. And I was like, oh, I don't know if I can do this or not. I found out that this platform is great, and I so enjoyed it. And going live 3 times a week for all the weeks that I did for over a year and a half, I went live 3 times a week. It got to be a lot, you guys. And after Richard Allen was arrested and the case kind of didn't, quiet down as per se, but everybody knows that there's just not been that much to truly talk about. And as that continued to get, we would get less and less information about what was truly going on. I didn't really feel like I could talk about Delphi every single time I was live. But you guys know how this community is, and everybody wanted Delphi content. And it was really becoming hard to not be able to do that, because I didn't want to join in with the craziness that was going on in the community. I didn't want to be thought of as one of those creators that's just talking about stuff for likes and subscribers and clicks. I didn't want to. I've never wanted my channel to be about that. This isn't about me. This isn't about how many people I can get to come to my live streams, or how many people like Kristen. That's not what I started my channel for. I started my channel because I wanted to bring light to the story of Abby and Libby. And I wanted justice. I wanted justice desperately. I've missed you guys too. And so when Richard Allen was arrested, I was elated. The news conference announcing his arrest happened on my birthday. And I couldn't believe that. I was like, after all of these years of following this case since day one when they were missing, I thought, what is that telling me? That this case gets solved on my birthday? I mean, it was pretty mind-blowing, to say the least. But anyway, I've just done a lot of soul searching the last few months about where I really want to go with my channel, and what's going to happen when the Delphi case is adjudicated and it's done. It's through the courts. Things have, are over. Where do we go? Where do I go from here with my channel? I've tried covering some of the cases that are in the news, and that's all fine and good. But I finally decided that I think I can do a better job of covering. I'm going to start covering cases that are not well known, that are cold cases, and try to bring some light to those cases. So that's kind of where I'm headed. So you guys have an idea of where my mind is on this. I still want to do true crime. I still want to be a part of the true crime community. And I still want to bring justice to Evansdale. And to Flora. Those are things that are still very near and dear to me, those cases. So with that being said, just to jump in and tell you guys what's been going on. About a year ago, last July, I was diagnosed with, hey, Deb, how are you, my dear? So good to see you. I miss you so much. I hope you're well. About a year ago, July, I was diagnosed with diabetes. I took my my diagnosis very, very seriously, you guys. It kind of woke me up, and I realized that this is a serious diagnosis for me, and it's runs in my family. And I was like, my paternal grandfather passed away from it. My paternal great grandmother passed away from it. And I thought, this is something that I just cannot ignore. So I jumped in with both feet to try to get a handle on the diabetes. And my A1C, hey, Steffa, how are you? My A1C when I was diagnosed was 9.5, which is kind of up there, guys. It's kind of high. And I think that I was a diabetic for at least 2 years before I was diagnosed. And yeah, that doesn't make me happy, because me being from the medical community, that's what my job has been. I felt like this should not have been overlooked. So, and anyway, so I started going to an endocrinologist. I was able to not be on insulin, but they put me on metformin, and I started revamping my eating. And at the same time, I made the decision to pursue having weight loss surgery. And just so you guys know the background for me, I had weight loss surgery in 2007 and had the lap band put in. And I lived with the lap band for 7 years. I was completely successful with it. I got down to my goal weight. I was doing wonderful, feeling great. Everything was fantastic until it wasn't. And I woke up one morning and my band had slipped, and it was excruciatingly painful. I had to go in for emergency surgery and have the band removed. Unfortunately, the surgical team that I had refused to do a revision, either to gastric bypass or to the VSG, which is the vertical sleeve gastrectomy. And so I was left with nothing after living with this tool to help me with my weight for 7 years. And I was working out religiously and everything was fine. Well, this happened to me in February, and the following November, my mother who was living with us at the time, had a massive stroke. I was the one who found her in the morning, in the middle of the night. I was, getting ready to go to work. It was like 4:00 in the morning, and they didn't expect her to survive. Well, anyway, long story short, after that, we went through all of the stuff with her and the stroke. I ended up keeping her here at home. I quit my job. I took care of my mom until 2016, when things just became so overwhelming, trying to lift her and do some of the stuff I had to do with her. And so she was such a fall risk that I couldn't do it anymore. And we chose to go the route of a nursing home, assisted living. So anyway, all of that happened. And a year after that, my mother passed away. She passed away on Labor Day of 2017, and my father passed away the following month in October. So I lost both of my parents within 2 months, and I spiraled. I spiraled emotionally and physically, and I just became a hermit. I lived like that for 15 to 18 months, and then COVID happened. And so I hear you, Steph. I hear you. So anyway, So when COVID happened, I was working from home, and I was doing stuff that I could do from home, and things just went nuts. And before I knew it, I had already gained a ton of weight, but I had really gained a lot. And hey, Ruckus, how are you, my dear? It's so good to see you. And so, lo and behold, I was the highest weight I'd ever been in my life, and it wasn't getting better. And we had a huge family reunion last summer, and all of my family was with me. And it was, oh, Shadowbox, I'm so, so sorry to hear that. I know it's undaunting. I was 200 pounds overweight, and it was awful. My knees were suffering. Everything was suffering. I had become a hermit. And I was a person who loved to be outside. I wanted to be outside. I wanted to do things. And hey, Purdue, how are you, my dear? So good to see you. And I couldn't do it. I couldn't bring myself to be around anyone except my grandchildren, and everybody would come see me. And so I guess my family kind of had an intervention with me last summer. And, my daughter, who you guys all have met here, Shelby, she had a sit down with me and was like, Mom, you've got to do something. Why don't you research having surgery again? And so I did. And I went back to my hospital that I worked at. I went back to their group, and I met this most fantastic surgeon who is just amazing. And so I went through the program all over again, even though I'm the person who used to lead the lap band group back in the day. I already knew all the stuff I needed to be doing. I just wasn't doing it. And so fast forward, in December of last year, my endocrinologist put me on Mounjaro. For those of you who are not familiar, Mounjaro is kind of like Ozempic and Wegovy for weight loss, although Mounjaro has another additional drug that works. And it is to help lower the A1C, but it also lowers your weight phenomenally. It works better than Ozempic. It works better than Wegovy. But the sad thing is that you have to be a diabetic to take it. And it's a shot once a week that you give yourself. And I started on it in December. And by August 15th, is when I had my surgery. You guys all know that I had surgery last month. Well, I had my surgery, and I had my vertical sleeve gastrectomy. And the day that I walked in to have my surgery, I had lost 94 pounds. So I had lost 94 pounds before I even had the surgery because of Mounjaro. I haven't been hungry since I started taking that drug. I have no hunger. The only thing is that I get jittery and I get kind of cranky and stuff when I really need to eat. Well, anyway, I've been working up to this, and it is like, that's awesome stuff. That is awesome. Go girl. I so am happy to hear that. I feel like I got my life back, you guys. I'm not this emotional wreck who was just living in a shell on my computer all the time and not doing anything and not being productive and not being, going outside and enjoying the weather and going to festivals and doing the things that I used to love to do. I would find excuses not to go places and not to do things. Hey, Frank Meister, how are you, my dear? And so I had my surgery on the 15th. What they did, if you guys are not familiar with what a vertical sleeve gastrectomy is, they cut away 80% of your stomach and they make a tube as a stomach that's shaped like a banana, and a small banana at that. And I have lost 24 pounds since surgery. So I have lost now well over 100 pounds. And I am on the road to finding myself again, you guys. And because all of this stuff was happening so quick in June, July, it's kind of like when I kind of I had to step away from the channel. I had to get my head on straight for my surgery. And the restriction on food is so dramatic when you go through this, because I can only eat, you guys, 2 ounces at a time right now. I went through a liquid diet for 10 days. Then I was on full liquids for a week. Then I was on pureed foods for 3 weeks. And this weekend I start soft food. So yeah, it's been a minute since I really had some food, but I feel great. And that's what's been going on with me. So I just wanted everybody to know, I do feel amazing. I'm back in the gym, which is like, I can't even tell you what that is for me and what that does for me. So yeah. So just bear with me. I am off all diabetic medication. I am still on Manjaro. They have not taken me off of it. I see my endocrinologist in October. And so yeah, I'm like, I just can't, like I said, I can't tell you how great it is to feel healthy again. And I'm really, really feeling good. So I'm ready to jump back in with both feet and work on my channel and carve out some time for it. I will not be live 3 times a week anymore, you guys. I just can't. Not with all the things that I'm doing for my health. So please, please know that I will be here as much. Oh, my last A1C was 5.1. So that was my last A1C. So it's considered normal. My blood sugars, I wore, the other thing that I did was I wore the Freestyle Libre 3, which is a sensor that you actually put on your body that monitors your blood glucose 24/7. And your sugars. And that really helped me to see what foods were making me spike and what foods weren't. And so I was able to really reel that all in. So anyway, let's talk about, that's not too bad, Frank. 6.8, keep working at it. You can get it down there. You can get it down there. I know I'm not a diabetic anymore. I'm in remission. I'm so happy. Like I said, I'm so happy. That's one of the wonderful things about bariatric surgery is that it will reverse diabetes. So, it's a plus, I guess. But now that we've talked about my health and everybody knows that I'm doing well, and yeah, my insurance didn't cover the cost of it either. But I will tell you, CJK, go to GoodRx. Get a GoodRx card because Walgreens has the monitors for $68 for 2 of them. And they last 2 weeks. So it's $68 a month. But that's through just the GoodRx card that you can get. So our insurance doesn't cover them either. Most insurances do not at this point. So it's not it's not good. I hate it. But yeah, so I will keep everybody up to date. I thought I had a card sitting here on my desk so I could show you, but I don't think I do, because I was going to show you what it looked like. But yeah, I don't have it in here. It must be in the other room. But yeah, my endocrinologist told me about the Good RX card. So thank you, Mitzi. I feel fantastic. I really, really do. And like I said, I lost 94 pounds before surgery. I've lost 24 pounds since surgery, since the 15th of August. And you do have to have a prescription for the Libra. You have to get that and they want that from an endocrinologist. So not just your, what am I trying to say? Your GP or whatever. So, but trust me, if you guys can do it, if you're a diabetic or you know a diabetic, it is so worth it to know what your blood sugar is at any given moment, and to be able to track your A1C is just incredible. And I knew that my diabetes was getting under control in July because I was being woke up 4 and 5 times a night because of low blood sugars. So, yeah. So anyway, yeah, that sucks, Frank. That's not what I want to hear from the VA. It's like, it's not what I want to hear. So anyway, you guys, let's talk about the suppression motion. So everybody is up in arms about the fact that the defense has created, and we knew this way back in the spring, because there was a suppression hearing scheduled. Frank, trust me on, or ask me or whatever, correct me if I'm wrong, but wasn't the suppression hearing scheduled for June and it didn't happen? I will tell you, for those of you that do have to do finger sticks, if you stick on the side of your finger rather than the pad of your finger, it doesn't hurt as bad. I thought so. I thought it was in June. Thank you. So it didn't happen. When the suppression hearing didn't happen, it caused a lot of people to start thinking that Richard Allen was in some sort of communication or deliberation or whatever with prosecutors trying to come to some plea agreement. And whenever there's silence in this case, things run amok and people start thinking all kinds of stuff. We don't have all the evidence, you guys. We're not privy to all the evidence that the prosecution has in this case. Nobody is, which is the way it should be. The defense in this case is doing exactly what they're supposed to be doing. They're defending their client. They're trying anything and everything to show reasonable doubt. That's what you pay them for. That's what you would want if you were a person who was, arrested and facing similar charges. God help us, because I would never. But if it happened, you would want the same kind of defense that he's getting. They are throwing everything at the wall. Everything. It's the same thing that's happening in the Brian Koberger case. Everybody's up in arms with what's going on up in Idaho. It's absolutely what's supposed to happen. Oh, Steffa, if you can help Frank, that would be awesome. Thank you. So that's the thing that people don't seem to understand about how our judicial system works in this country and how things are supposed to go. Richard Allen is innocent until proven guilty in a court of law by his peers. We have to let that sink into our heads. He is innocent until proven guilty. Now, with that being said, because of social media, because of the way technology has changed our culture and made everything like this, a snap of the of fingers, and we have news. We have 24-hour news now. We have gosh, my headphones, they're driving me crazy. You know, and because of that, we all have gotten so spoiled, I guess, is what I want to say, and think that we need to know everything right now and that it's our right to know everything. And it's not. That's not how the justice system works. When will we have the right to know? When the case is in court and we can watch it and we can go there. You know, in the United States, our courtrooms are open to the public. Hey, Ray, good to see you. You're able to go to these proceedings. You can go stand in line and go watch them. Our courtrooms are not closed in this country unless it's minors, which you can understand why. Those are the kinds, or family court, those can be closed. And that's understandable. You're dealing with minors. When you're dealing with a murder trial in this country, you can go watch the trial. Now, one of the things that happened with the motions is the defense has asked for cameras to be allowed in the courtroom. And I'm all for that. I think it does create transparency as long as the judge keeps control of the court. As long as he keeps control and doesn't allow the two sides to make it into a circus, we're good. So I was happy to see that the defense wants cameras in the courtroom. I think that is the way it should happen. Now, will Fran Gull agree to that? I tend to think at this point in time she will. And I think that because she was one of the judges who actually tested out the cameras in the courtroom last year in her court. And I just have a feeling that she's going to be okay with it. I will be disappointed if she isn't, because I don't like hearing things secondhand. I'm one of those people that like hands-on. I will say that I cannot thank Frank Meister enough for being in those courtrooms and being there and listening to what's happening and giving us a straightforward, here it is. This is what's happening. This is what's in writing. And I just applaud him for that. He's not doing this for recognition. He's not doing this to build a channel. He's not doing this to promote himself. He's doing this for the families, and he's doing this for Abby and Libby. And I'm glad that we have someone like him in the courtroom because I don't live close enough to be there, or I would be there. 5-hour drive a day to and from, because it's 2.5 hours there and 2.5 hours back. That's a long drive for me. So I wish, but I really, really think that, I don't know, it's just going to be a good thing, and I really hope to see that. Now, with and I, like I said, I lived through the O.J. Simpson case, which was the first case that was televised, the first big, huge case that was televised, and it was a frickin' circus. They had actual circus performers outside the courthouse entertaining the throngs of people that were gathered outside that court every single day. The lawyers were, I mean, it was just insane. It really truly was. It just became a horrific circus. And I really don't want to see that happen with this case. But as the suppression motion goes, trying to suppress the search warrant, it happens every single day in most every single case in this country. They are going to try anything to get reasonable doubt on their client. Do they have enough? We don't know, because we don't know everything that has transpired. Do I think that the search warrant is valid? Yes, I do. Do I think that because I'm a police officer and am in law enforcement? No. But I guarantee you that my dear friend Steve with True Crime Web believes it is, and I trust him immensely. Ruckus Rocks, who's in here, he's lurking. I know he is. I know he believes it. So, do I believe that Richard Allen is Bridge Guy? Yes, I do. Absolutely. I did as soon as I saw him. And it's like, I said this to so many of my friends and so many of my colleagues over this case for years. When they make an arrest, this crazy community that follows the Delphi case on social media, there's going to be a huge faction of them that won't believe, no matter who it is they arrest, unless it's their POI and the person that's in their brain that did this crime, they're not going to accept it. Lo and behold, look where we are. We have got crazy, crazy crap being spewed out there. I just think people have lost their minds again. And I think it's because one of the things that I find so interesting in this case is that when things go quiet and when we don't really have a lot coming from law enforcement, or we don't have a lot, and they can't talk about the case. So that's why people get tired of being quiet, because as content creators, we're constantly being asked by our subscribers and our supporters for more Delphi content. So these people decide to make Delphi content. If there isn't any, we're going to make some. And I am just like, I have, go back into my channel in the early days of the spring of 20,000, of 20,000, God, I can't even talk, of 2022. Go back and watch my videos that I did on confirmation bias. I think Ruckus said it well on his live stream not too long ago. You have to look at this case objectively. And people just can't, for whatever reason. They come into this case with preconceived notions, or they hear something and run with it and take it as true and absolute gospel. I don't do that. I don't listen to the hyperbole that's going on social media. I look at the facts of the case. The facts. We have Richard Allen placing himself on the bridge where the girls were. We have him cited by more than one person on the trails at the time that aligns with the timeline of the murders. And it's just like, what in the world, people? What more do you need to know? He was wearing the same clothes. His whole excuse for being there is ridiculous. It doesn't make sense. Yes, he's bridge guy. Now, is he the only person involved in this case? I don't know. But I guarantee you the police know. I guarantee you the police know. And am I going to jeopardize this case by jumping on to some sort of claim about this person or that person, or this is what happened that day and this person was involved and this person was involved and this is what they were planning to do and no, because I don't know. I don't know. And there are so many people out there claiming so many things. And what hurts me the most is that Becky and Anna have to listen to this crap over and over again. Because they're in these groups, you guys. They watch these live streams, you guys, which is their right. And you know, it's overwhelming. It's got to be overwhelming when it's your loved one that this stuff's being said about. So it's like, like I said, as a family member who, I guess the way I want to say it is, unless you've been, because of all the counseling I did through Compassionate Friends for Parents Who've Lost Children, I can tell you this, and as a parent who's lost a child, I can tell you this. Until you walk in the shoes of a person whose child has been murdered, you have no idea, absolutely no idea what those emotions are and the pain that they are going through. And yeah, Jennifer, it is their choice to watch, but it may not be their choice to be walking in those shoes. And I guarantee you it's not. And for people to disregard human emotion and people's feelings that child has been murdered is beyond disgusting. People can sit there and talk all day long about all the news broadcasts and everything that's out there that's disgusting that happens online and all the perverts and all the stuff we cover and everything. But to me, there's nothing more disgusting than a person that is willing to throw Kelsey under the bus and point fingers at her for being responsible for her sister's murder. The fury that it brings to me is unbelievable. We need to get a grip in this country and a grip online. People need to sit up and look in the freaking mirror. How do you go to sleep at night? How do you get up and look at yourself in the morning? I don't understand. these people don't even live in Indiana. They don't even live in Delphi. Some of them have absolutely no idea what the heck they're talking about. And there are so many of them. I'm not going to name them because I'm not here to name them. But you guys all know who they are because you see it just like I see it, just like Anna sees it, just like Becky sees it, just like Kelsey and Mike see it. They all see it. Carrie, God help her. I don't know how she deals with it. And I'm tired of it. I am so tired of it. I have said it since last October. Do I believe that the police or law enforcement would have arrested someone they did not believe that they could absolutely take to court with the evidence that they had and prove guilt? And the answer to that is no. I don't believe they would have arrested someone that they did not feel confident that they could take to trial for this case. Why? Because I don't believe they would put the families through that. That's why. And for those of you that don't want to listen, Richard Allen has confessed. He has confessed not only to his wife, but to his mother, who absolutely would go and confess to 2 teenage girls' brutal murders to their mother if they hadn't done it. The whole thing is just crazy. Crazy. Hey, Dave, how are you? Drive careful, please. And you're never late. But, yeah, we don't know everything. I don't even profess to know everything. And I think one of the worst things that could have ever happened in this case was them to come out and say that they thought that there might be. They didn't say for sure. They said there might be other players in this case. And if there were, they were going to find them. Because as soon as they did that, it opened the can of worms for all of the people whose POIs was not Richard Allen, which is most everyone, because Richard Allen wasn't on any of ours radar. And if you say he was, you're a damn liar. Because his name was never mentioned anywhere. So, oh yeah, CJK, I firmly believe that there's something that happened there between the daughter and the son-in-law. I'm firmly believing that. She has not been to see her father. So, and I can understand why. But sorry, guys, I don't mean to get so angry, but this stuff really upsets me sometimes. And especially when you've got people coming into your chat saying that he's a fall guy and all this other, and it just makes me angry because it's just the conspiracy theorists that were sitting down in Dallas waiting for JFK Jr. to come back. It's the same people that are claiming this, and it's driving me nuts. I just, I don't know what happened to our trust in science and our trust in how law enforcement does their job. Thank you, Steffa. I appreciate you. I just, is law enforcement perfect? No. Did law enforcement make mistakes in this case? Of course they did. And I'm sure they'd be the first ones to admit it. I mean, come on, you guys. You know, you guys, the majority of you who follow me and that I know and that I've seen you over and over and over again for the last year and a half, I know that you're intelligent people. And so like I said, this whole conspiracy notion and this whole, well, do you realize how many people would have to be involved for this to be a conspiracy against Richard Allen? Give me a break. Give me a break. So now that I've said that, like I said, is it possible that there are others involved? Of course there are. Will I be surprised if I find out that there are and that they've arrested new people? No, I will not be surprised at all. Will I be shocked to find out that Richard Allen is a lone wolf? Absolutely not. I won't be shocked either. Because I know in my heart, I don't know everything. And I stand by what Doug Carter told us a long time ago. I want to be able to tell you the story, and one day I will be able to. And we're going to find the story out in court. Now, will I be surprised if this doesn't go to court? And if Richard Allen does a plea deal? Nope, I wouldn't be surprised at all. But he has to be offered one first, guys. And the prosecution may not want that. They may not want to plead this case. And there's a lot of reasons for that. We all know that follow true crime and watch the court systems and really follow stuff like this on a regular, that the percentage of cases that are that never make it to trial because of plea deals are huge percentage of cases. And why is that? Because it saves taxpayers money. Money, you guys, money. It's important to know. It's important to realize that cases like Richard Allen's and cases like the case that's happening in Idaho cost communities and states multiple millions of dollars. And especially cases that are death penalty cases, which is what's happening up in Idaho. There's a lot of money that is tied up in the Delphi case. I've heard people say, well, the defense is doing this because the longer they can drag all this out, the more money they make. That's true. I think Tech Death said that to me on a call once. But it is true, you guys, that, they're being paid by the state. Hi, Tech Death. You knew I was thinking about you because you just piped up and said something. How are you, my dear? I miss you. I don't think that the Delphi case is complicated either, Danger Dave. I think the Delphi case has been complicated by social media. And I think that there are things that we could very possibly have wrong. Hey, TTM fangirl, how are you? Good to see you. I missed you guys. It's so good to see your faces pop up and say hello. I don't think they're going to offer a deal. I just don't. I just don't see them offering him a deal. I I could be completely wrong, you guys. They may decide that they would rather offer him a deal than have to go through the whole nightmare of a court case. However, I don't see them offering him a deal without speaking to the families to find out how they feel about it. So they're going to get Becky and Mike and Anna's opinions on how they feel about this. And I definitely see Nick doing that. But for them to be asking for this key evidence to be thrown out, you guys, this is just normal. There isn't anything frightening about this. There isn't anything unusual about this. It doesn't mean that the evidence that they have is tainted. It doesn't mean that the evidence that they have isn't that great. This is what they're going to do. They're going to hope that they can go before the court and give them and lay down this case and say this, and this. But Frances Gull has to approve it. She has to believe it. And then she will decide. I mean, just because Brad, is it Rosie, you guys? Rosie? And Andrew Baldwin claim that the search warrant is invalid doesn't mean that it is or that it was. And that's the rub, sees through, because you are absolutely right. There is only one person that needs to side with the defense on that jury, and Richard Allen walks out of court. I mean, you know, that in itself is scary to me. Those are the things that I've thought about all these months, at least for the last year and a half. The reasonable doubt. Look at all the people that say doubt, you know, and all the people that have created doubt and are continuing to create doubt in the minds of people. I'm torn, Purdue. There's a part of me that wants the case in court so that I can see all the evidence and that I know what's going on. But then there's another part of me that wants to save the families from having to listen to everything and to what transpired and what those poor what these poor people have to go through to listen to what the girls endured that day. Oh, Derek, no, that's terrible. I'm so sorry. I don't know. I just feel like there is some really strange goings on in this community. There always has been. Hey, Gail, how are you? Hey, Rescue All the Dogs. Thank you. I'm so glad you guys are here. It's good to see you. And Derek, you're not a dum-dum. But yeah, I really, like I said, I'm all about saving the family any more pain than what they already have been through. And even though it's painful, I know that they want to know what happened and why. I think their biggest question is why. And we may never know why. We may never know why. And people need to be, to be aware of this and accept that. Oh, most definitely tech death. There's a lot of people out there that are trying to get their 15 minutes of fame. And it's sad because they are doing it on the backs of Abby and Libby. And it is sad. Two beautiful girls. And, I think we'll get details, Derek, because I think that there will be law enforcement individuals that may write books eventually on this. This story is so big and so huge. I cannot imagine that somebody in law enforcement that was, around this case would not write their book about it. But I think that, we may not get all of the details that we want. We just might not. And we have to resign ourselves to that fact. Awesome, Frank. Awesome. I'm really glad to hear that. I am so glad to hear that. Because I want them there. I want cameras to be in the courtroom. It needs to be, in my opinion. And that I think that Frances Gull has shown that she's a strong judge. I think she's a fair judge. And I think that she will keep control of that courtroom. And that's what's got to happen. Oh, CJK, there's going to be several books. There's going to be several books. There's already people waiting in the wings, trust me, that are wanting to do books, movies. There will be all kinds of stuff that people will want to do on this case. And it's because it's so big. And it's because, it's an international story now. It's not just a local Indiana story anymore. It hasn't been for a very, very long time, even though there are still people in Indiana that aren't aware of the case. So, Nick from True Crime Garage's book is fantastic. I loved his book on the case. I did a review of that. If you guys are interested and haven't seen it, you can go back and find that video in my videos on my channel. It's a couple of months ago, and I did a review of that book. I stay in contact with some of my closest friends that I've made since starting my channel, and Fig Solves is Fig is one of my close and dearest friends, and he's come out and made comments and stuff about this case, and it will be it'll be interesting to see how this all plays out and where we all land at the end of it. Because I think there's going to be a lot of people that are going to have to stand up and admit they were wrong and admit that they had it wrong. And I think there's people out there that can't do that. Because like Tech Death said, they've made it about themselves. That's Barbara McDonald. Barbara McDonald is the woman from Down the Hill podcast. I'm friends with her on Twitter. Sorry, I'm never going to call it X. You guys, I will never, ever call that platform X. It's just ridiculous. But she definitely knows. Oh, Susan Hendricks. Yeah. Okay. I was just going to say, because Barbara is also Barbara McDonald. But Susan, I love Susan as well. She is, she's been very close with the families since she covered this case. And I will be interested in her book. If you have not seen the Down the Hill podcast, that Down the Hill is actually it's a videography of the case. And Barbara, I do believe she believed that. I don't know if she still does. Hey, Boston. How are you? Yes, you are absolutely right. Because there are so many similarities to this case in Evansdale. It's not even funny. And there's been other cases. So I hope there's not a mistrial. I think that that's another thing that that worries me sometimes if we do end up in court with this case about an actual mistrial. I know that they try very hard to make sure that that doesn't happen, but with all the crazy going on, you just wonder. But yeah. Down the Hill is hold on a second, let me find the link for it, guys. Hold on a minute, because it is worth watching. If you guys haven't seen it, there's a TV show that they did, as well as the podcast itself. The TV special was done in 2020. Okay. Hang on a second, guys. Sorry. I just don't want to lose my space. Oh, well, thank you, Boston. So there you go. Thank you, Gail, so much. I appreciate your super sticker very much. But yeah, I just dropped it in the chat, you guys. For those of you that have not seen it, if you haven't seen it, you need to watch it. I would watch it, and I would also listen to the podcast. When that came out, I actually sat down, because you guys know how I am with my notebooks and all my handwritten notes on Delphi. I actually sat down when it came out and I wrote out the narrative. So I have the whole thing verbatim, word for word. I posted it back when it came out on Delphi's Daughters over on Reddit. So again, I'm one of those people that are about facts, and I want to know, what's what. Oh, Purdue, I'm stoked. I have already planned. I'm already planning for it. My only problem right now that I'm having with it is it's the 21st, right? Is the 21st the walk, you guys? Randy's walk's on the 21st. Because the 20th, my grandson has a football game. So that Friday night, I won't be able to come in. I will actually have to drive in on Saturday morning. So, but I am so looking forward to seeing all of you. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. And now that I'm feeling so wonderful, and by then, I mean, another 6 weeks, I'll be feeling even better. So, or 5 weeks, I guess. No, maybe 6. I'll be feeling even better. So that's all good. So you guys are going to get the real Kristen. and it'll be good. I'm going to be glad to put faces to names and be able to pay my respects to Abby and to Libby on the memorial walk. And I just Randy has been through hell. There's been a lot going on with him, and I hope he's not really sick. I worry about him. He has done some great things for the girls to keep the girls' names out there. And Randy's one of the good guys. But anyway, you guys, that's what I wanted to come on here tonight and talk to you guys about. You know, for those of you that are going to be at the Memorial Walk October 21st, I look forward to seeing you. I know Frank Meister told me that he was going to be there, so I'm really excited to finally be able to meet Frank. And I'm hoping that I'll get to meet Indie Archive while I'm there. I'm going to definitely let him know I'm coming. So I'm hoping to get to meet him as well. He has also been a great voice in this community. His channel and everything that he does, all of his drone footage and stuff has been amazing. So I really appreciate him. But I need to jump off of here because I need to drink a protein shake, and that takes me a little while to do. This is the protein that I use, just so you guys, if you guys are wondering what it is a medical, it's a medical grade protein. It's 20 grams, and it's really good stuff. I used it way back in the day for my last surgery, and I'm using it again. So, yeah, I like I said, I worry about Randy. So if anybody's in contact with him, please let me know, either via email or text or my Discord, whatever. I love all of you. I appreciate all of you so very much. Thank you for sticking with me. Thank you for not rushing off. I didn't know who was going to be here tonight. Like I said, I didn't even do a thumbnail until 20 minutes before I decided to come on live. But I couldn't go with everything that I was hearing with the suppression hearing and stuff. I couldn't go without saying something on this. I had to. And just remember my mantra, you guys. Be kind to one another. Be kind to each other out there. You never know what someone else is going through. You don't know what they've been through. You don't know what their shoes they're walking in, and what their struggles are. Don't be so quick to judge. My mother used to always tell me, judge gently. And I do try to do that. So with that being said, I will see you all soon. I love my love to all of you. Be safe out there. And Derek, I hope somebody is coming to get you. So you let me know, Derek, if you're okay. And I will talk to you guys all later. Good night, everyone, and have a great weekend.